Christina Grimmie was 22, a rising star, a singer with millions of fans and a heart big enough to hug every one of them. On June 10th, 2016, she opened her arms to greet another fan and was shot 3 times. This is the true story of the girl who believed in kindness, the obsession that hunted her, and the industry-wide reckoning that followed. Long before the cameras, before the auditions, before the stage lights and the millions of views and screaming crowds, there was just a little girl sitting cross-legged on the floor of a modest home in Marlton, New Jersey, humming softly to herself, as her fingers traced invisible piano keys in the air. Christina Victoria Grimmie was born on March 12, 1994, to Tina and Albert Grimmie. She was their second child, the baby of the family, and from the moment she arrived, she was music. The Grimmie household wasn't grand. It was warm, middle class, grounded in faith, Italian-American values, and Saturday morning pancakes. Her father, Albert, worked at Verizon. Her mother, Tina, stayed home to raise Christina and her older brother, Marcus. There was nothing flashy about their lives, but there was love, thick, unshakable love that wrapped around the family like a song you couldn't forget. Christina was the kind of child who felt everything, deeply. She wasn't loud or rebellious. She was observant, affectionate, full of wonder. By the age of 4, she was already singing, full songs in tune, with a clarity that made grown-ups stop talking and just listen. At 5, she'd sit at the piano and plunk out melodies by ear. No lessons yet, just instinct. Her voice was tiny, but it carried. Tina, who had been diagnosed with breast cancer around this time, used to lie on the couch during chemo days and listen to Christina sing. It gave her strength. It made her smile. "I always said she was my little miracle," she would later say. "Her voice was God's way of reminding me there was beauty in pain." Music was everything to Christina. She'd sing in the car, in the shower, in the hallways of Cherokee High School, where classmates knew her as the sweet girl with the hoodie and the headphones. She wasn't chasing popularity. She was chasing sound, always with a song in her head, always scribbling lyrics in the corners of her school notebooks. At 13, she begged her parents to let her start a YouTube channel. Her older brother Marcus, her best friend, protector, and unofficial manager, helped set it up. She named the channel Zelda's Love 64, a nod to her love of the Legend of Zelda video game series and her playful, nerdy spirit. She didn't expect much, just wanted to share her voice. Maybe a few people would hear it. The first video was simple. Her, in a hoodie, singing into a webcam in her bedroom. But her voice, it was impossible to ignore. She sang with rawness, control, and heart. She didn't just sing the notes, she told the story. Within weeks, she had thousands of views, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Christina became one of the first YouTube musicians to truly go viral. All before she turned 16, covers of popular songs like Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA and Demi Lovato's Skyscraper gained her massive attention. But it was her cover of Nelly's Just a Dream, performed with YouTube stars Sam Tsui and Kurt Hugo Schneider, that exploded across the platform. It hit over 100 million views, and yet nothing changed her. She still lived in New Jersey, still helped her mom fold laundry, still played piano barefoot in the living room while her dad grilled in the backyard. Fame didn't twist her, it humbled her. She thanked every fan, replied to every comment she could. She signed every autograph. She was exactly the girl she had been before, just louder now, heard by more people. In 2011, she released her first EP, Find Me, all while still in high school. It charted on Billboard. Selena Gomez became her mentor. Managers and producers started circling. Christina moved to Los Angeles to pursue music full-time, with Marcus by her side. Her mom's cancer had gone into remission, a second miracle. Oh, and her family believed Christina was on the edge of something extraordinary, and she was. In 2014, she auditioned for The Voice. The moment she opened her mouth, every judge turned their chair. Fast. Her rendition of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball silenced the room. She joined Team Adam. Levine called her one of the best singers in the history of the show. She soared to the finals, finishing third, but walking away with a record deal, millions of new fans, and a future bursting with promise. But Christina wasn't chasing superstardom. She wanted a different kind of career, one built on connection. She'd often say, "I don't want to be famous just to be famous. I want to use my music to make people feel something." And she did. Through every concert, every meet and greet, every Instagram post, she radiated gratitude. Not curated gratitude, real, trembling, heart wide open, "Thank you for being here with me" energy. Fans adored her not because she was perfect, but because she was true. She sang about hurt, about God, about doubt and belief and fear and love. She once told a group of fans in a live stream, "You guys saved my life. You don't even know." But in June of 2016, one fan would end it. By 2015, Christina Grimmie was no longer just a YouTube star. She was an independent artist with a fan base that spanned continents, an EP on iTunes, a loyal following called the Team Grimmie family, and a reputation for something rare in the world of viral fame: authenticity. She wasn't a label puppet. She wasn't trying to fit into pop radio formulas. She was Christina, and she made sure the people who supported her knew they mattered. She remembered names. She stayed after, chose to hug every person in line. She asked how they were doing before they could ask her for a photo. She meant it. That intimacy, the closeness she allowed between herself and her fans, was part of what made her special and what made her vulnerable. Her brother Marcus was always near. At meet and greets, on tour buses, backstage, he wasn't. Just her protector, he was her anchor. But even Marcus couldn't see what was coming. In early 2016, Christina released her second EP, Side A, a blend of soul, faith, and piano-driven pop. It wasn't chart-topping. It wasn't on every radio station. But it was real. It was her. She planned a national tour, small venues, intimate shows. She wanted to be close to the people who built her. On June 10th, 2016, she performed in Orlando, Florida, the venue, the Plaza Live, an unassuming mid-sized theater on Bumby Avenue. That night, she was opening for the band Before You Exit. It was a modest gig by industry standards. No security scanners, no metal detectors, no national press, just fans, mostly young women, some with handmade signs waiting to hear the voice that had once come through their laptop speakers in dark bedrooms during hard times. Christina was electric. She always was. Dressed in her signature black jeans and jacket, hair tousled, eyeliner bold, she moved across the stage like it belonged to her, not with arrogance, but with certainty. She smiled constantly. Between songs, she cracked jokes, thanked the audience over and over, told them to chase what they loved and to be kind. "You're here tonight, so you're part of something. You're not alone." After the set, she went to the lobby for the meet and greet. She always did. No barricade, no stage, no ego, just Christina standing with arms open, waiting to meet whoever had waited for her. The crowd moved through slowly. Hugs, selfies, signed posters. Some cried. She comforted them, told one girl, "You're stronger than you think." And then came a man. He stood near the back of the line. His name was Kevin James Loibl, 27 years old, from St. Petersburg, Florida. He had traveled across the state by taxi, checked into a nearby hotel, and walked into the venue with 2 loaded handguns, a hunting knife, and the intent to kill. He didn't know Christina personally, but he thought he did. Kevin had been watching her videos obsessively for over a year. Co-workers later said he often claimed she was his soulmate, that she would want to be with him if they met. He spoke of her like a girlfriend. He became agitated when she spoke about religion or dating. He had no prior criminal record, no known history of violence, just loneliness, delusion, and a loaded weapon. As he approached Christina, she smiled. She opened her arms. "Hi, I'm so glad you came." He raised the gun. 3 shots. Point-blank range. Christina collapsed into Marcus. Screams tore through the lobby. Fans scattered. Blood spilled across the carpet. Marcus, without hesitation, tackled the gunman. He shoved him hard to the ground. In the scuffle, Kevin Loibl pulled the second gun and shot himself in the head. It was over in under 30 seconds. The room was quiet, then chaos. Marcus cradled Christina. She was still breathing, barely. Paramedics arrived within minutes. She was rushed to Orlando Regional Medical Center. Doctors fought, but the damage was massive. The bullets had struck her head and chest. By 11:12 p.m., Christina Grimmie was pronounced dead. She was 22 years old. The news broke before sunrise. Singer Christina Grimmie shot and killed after Orlando concert. It didn't sound real. Couldn't be. Not her. Not the girl who stayed late just to hug fans. Not the YouTube sweetheart who answered every comment with hearts and smiley faces. Not the girl who smiled with her whole face and sang like her soul was on fire. But it was true. By morning, Bacha R.I.P. Christina was trending globally. Celebrities, fans, former voice coaches, fellow musicians, everyone mourned. Adam Levine, her mentor from The Voice, was devastated. He offered to pay for her funeral. Selena Gomez, her close friend, broke down during a performance and whispered into the mic, "I don't really understand how this is possible." But no one understood. In the days that followed, a flood of grief swept across the world. But none more overwhelming than what consumed the Grimmie family. Tina, her mother, was inconsolable. She had survived cancer twice. Christina had always been her reason, her strength, her voice in the dark. Now that voice was gone. Her husband Albert tried to stay strong for her, but the pain was visible in the tremble of his hands and the silence that filled the house. Marcus, who had tackled the gunman, was hailed a hero, but all he could say was that he had failed. "I should have stopped him sooner," he whispered to reporters. "I should have taken the bullet." But no one blamed Marcus. If anything, the world saw him as the reason the tragedy hadn't grown worse. Because behind Kevin Loibl were hundreds of fans in that lobby. He could have turned the gun on them. Marcus's action had saved lives, but he couldn't see it that way. He had only wanted to protect Christina. In the investigation that followed, police scoured Kevin Loibl's digital history. They found no formal contact between him and Christina. No emails, no DMs, just obsessive views of her videos. An eerie, unbalanced fantasy life created from pixels and delusion. Co-workers said he had recently undergone LASIK eye surgery and dental work because he wanted to look good for her. He believed she was single, believed she would fall in love with him once they met. When he learned she might be dating someone, something inside him cracked. He never told anyone he planned to hurt her. He bought the guns legally. Walked into the venue without being searched. There were no metal detectors, no pat-downs, no armed security inside the lobby, because Christina didn't want distance between herself and her fans. She believed in love. She believed in people, and someone used that belief to kill her. The Plaza Live shut down briefly. The blood was scrubbed away, the walls repainted. But the air there would never feel the same. Her family held a public memorial. Thousands attended. Some came from across the country. Others brought hand-drawn pictures, letters, origami hearts with messages tucked inside. "You saved me," many of them read. "You made me feel less alone." Marcus spoke through tears. "She loved every one of you. She didn't see you as fans. She saw you as friends, family. She always said you gave her a reason. They played her music, not the loud ones, the soft ones, the ones where you could hear her breath between words, where her voice trembled with honesty, the ones where she was just a girl at a piano, hoping someone out there would hear her. In the weeks after Christina's death, a silence settled over parts of the internet that had once been full of her voice. Her YouTube channel, with over 3 million subscribers, became a digital shrine. Fans left comments under old videos, like letters at a grave. You helped me survive my darkest days. I still watch this every night before bed. You deserved the world, and it failed you, but from the grief came purpose. Her family, still reeling, refused to let Christina's death be just another tragedy, swallowed by time and headlines. With the support of fans, friends, and fellow musicians, they launched the Christina Grimmie Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to supporting victims of gun violence and families affected by breast cancer. It was fitting. Christina had lost her life to one and fought beside her mother against the other. The foundation didn't raise millions overnight, but it didn't need to. Its goal was connection, the same thing Christina had built her life around. They paid for funerals, helped survivors get therapy, supported young musicians. It was quiet work, personal, real, just like her. Meanwhile, the music industry took a hard look at its practices. How had a man armed with 2 handguns and a knife walked into a venue and stood face to face with a rising pop star without anyone noticing? Venues across the country began re-evaluating their security protocols. Artists spoke openly about the fear they now carried. Meet and greets changed. Some were cancelled. Others added armed guards, metal detectors, screening policies. But something else had changed too, the illusion of safety, because Christina had been good. She hadn't provoked, hadn't been controversial. She had loved people, and someone had used that love as an entry point. It shook the influencer world as well. YouTubers who once hosted casual fan hangouts began hiring security. Fans who used to run up for hugs hesitated. An invisible wall began to form, the same wall Christina had refused to build, now rising out of necessity. Her final music video, Invisible, was released posthumously in 2017. The lyrics, written before her death, now felt like a message whispered from the other side. I feel invisible, but that's how I like it. You'll never know me. I'll never be someone you could hurt. The video ends with light bursting from a silhouetted figure standing alone. Even after death, Christina was singing. Her parents, Tina and Albert, continued to speak about her publicly, at concerts, at high schools, at events for victims of violence. They weren't polished. They didn't try to be. They spoke like parents who had lost everything and were still trying to believe in something. Tina said once in a live stream, I still feel her here, in the music, in the people who tell me she saved them. I don't know why she was taken, but I know she changed lives. Marcus, always quieter, returned to music eventually. He honored his sister the only way he knew how, by carrying the part of her that still lived in melody. In 2019, The Voice paid tribute to Christina with a performance by past contestants. Adam Levine, visibly emotional, said, "She was part of this family, and we lost her, but we will never forget her. They never will, and neither will the millions who still find her videos, still share her music. Still remember the girl with the messy hair and the hoodie who looked into a webcam and poured her soul into the world. Christina Grimmie didn't just sing songs, she sang truth. She believed in kindness, connection, and vulnerability. And though it cost her everything, the world is better for having heard her voice."